Well, you don't see many of these, do you? So we've got a Major 3000. This is the last one of the batch. It's a bit of a struggle. We had to mail it in. It wasn't ready when he came over with them, but this is it. So this is box 10. This is the final set. I ought to knock him half a pence off because he sent the instruction book. That will be useful to scan, and it comes with a square kit diagram. And although we know what's inside a Cybernet 134, it's always nice when it's the correct diagram for the radio, because it's going to show the switches. So that will be, I'll put that to one side. So it's come with the Major microphone. I'll try it later on with that, but we'll do everything on the standard replacement mic at this point. It's so good condition, and I've never even seen an antenna protector before, that this has a screw-on SO239 protector for me to drop on the floor. Right, so they're going to have a whole range of Major products, including a base station. I think the base station was the 4000, but it didn't happen. So we've got something which is similar specification to Roto 230, similar specification to Harvard 420M. So it sits there in that middle upper range. It's got somebody's initials on the back, and it has the high-low power on the back. Isn't that lovely? Yes, Mr. Tango. I'll tell you what, we won't take all the screws out, I'll just take these two out. And then we'll put it on the test gear. PA, so we'll plug our PA speaker in. We'll plug our test equipment speaker in. And we'll plug the test equipment aerial wire in. I used to love, back in the 80s, Dukes of Hazzard was on television. My late mother used to watch it. She's funny, really. I shouldn't be telling you this, but a friend of mine came in. He says, "Mrs. S," he says to her, his name was, what was his name? Stephen. I can't understand a lady of your age. She'd be in her 60s. Can't understand a lady of your age being into Dukes of Hazzard. Is it the fast cars or what? She says, no, it's Bo Duke's tight jeans. Nothing like telling the truth. Oh, it's not that, Mike. We want the Cybernet one. That says Uniden on it. That says great. That says Uniden as well. Right. So again, this is an unknown set, so I'll switch it on. For some reason, I haven't got the second camera coming through again. I'm just going to pause the video while I find out which wires come out. This time it was the power connector had popped out of the S-video to HDMI connector converter thing. Right, we'll get this powered up to some electricity. So what I was going to say about Dukes of Hazzard, I remember Boss Hogg in the Boar's Nest, that bar he ran, and he's in his office at the back talking on a realistic base station with no aerial plugged in. You could think that the continuity people would actually put a bit of coax, you know, 3 feet long to nothing, wouldn't you? And then there was Smoking the Bandit and the the policeman in there. Is it Beaufort T Justice? The one with the daft son. And he's talking into this part of the mic. He's talking into the hanger. Yep. 133 milliamps being drawn. So we'll go to 13.8 volts. Current limited to 1.6 amps. So it's a red display is it on these. It's so long since I've seen one. I have done one of these before. Sure we did one on video because I do own one. But mine's not in a box and mine doesn't have instructions. So, have we got any little bit of paper left on that little bit of paper I've been using? I reckon there's just enough left. Got to pass this on to the customer. There's just enough left there. Major 3000. So, let's go into picture in picture. And we'll select the correct camera. It's determined to stay across there. Here goes. I'm in the 3 watt range. And we don't have any transmit, folks. No, he's drawing 300 milliamps when I go into transmit, so it doesn't work. Let's try it on low power. Wherever I can feel that. Ah, now we've got transmit. So that wants cleaning. It's the high-low power switch stopping it from transmitting. So it's well over 1 amp. Good grief, it's doing 4.8 watts. Well, that's got to come down. Not just for legal reasons, it will kill the set. TX 4.8 watts. That's not a good sign, is it? It's, you know, it shows fiddle with. Let's look at deviation. We're placing any bets. Wow, actually it's 1.8. So it's low. Frequency. Test set's been on for 2 hours, so it's going to be spot on. It's a bit low. 27,79096, but not illegally low. We'll pull that up, I'm sure that will go. So we'll set the signal generator for something like 79. Oh, 96-ish, so it's fair. So because the whole radio's off frequency, we've set the signal generator off frequency just to be fair. Oh, it's got RF gain and it was right at the bottom. That's better. So let's go over to the cyanide meter. Put a bit more volume on. .38 microvolts. So really, it's on, if it's put on frequency and the power dropped, everything should be right. Good. I just hope nothing silly's happened to it when we go inside it. Oh, I was going to check. I was going to check PA, wasn't I? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Yeah, that works fine. We can unplug that. be. Put that lid on top of my piece of polystyrene. I'll have a sniff. Oh, it smells of fags. No, I can't see anything silly in there, so that's good news. I'm going to set the VCO with the radio on low power because I don't. If I'm keying up, setting the VCO, I don't want to be thrashing the transmitter. While we're at it, I'll just clean that switch. And we'll get the multimeter. The Lidl Special. I don't like the inset picture there. Off you go. Put that back to that camera. Borrow Mr. Chippy's yellow lead. We'll see where we are with the VCO. So we need to select channel 40. We've actually got no transmit coming out of the set, but we know it is transmitting. So we know that preset for low power is also dirty or no good. So we'll just waggle that around. See whether we've got low power now. Yeah. Good. So you've got two reasons there for no transmit. No transmit either in high or low power because of the switch, and then no transmit in low power because of the preset. So that's a double whammy. So if we locate resistor 4, far side, see what voltage we've got. Should be 3 volts, so it should be 4 volts, sorry. It is. I don't need to adjust that. That's absolutely near enough, and the transmit one should be the same. I will just adjust that one. It's supposed to be 4 volts, that's near enough. Now I've adjusted one, I may as well adjust the other. Go back to transmit. Right, and now we'll check channel 1. Somewhere between, was it 1.8 and 2.4 or something like that. I can always look it up in the manual if it's. Well, that's in lock, and that's in lock, so we're done. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set these first 3 in low power, then we'll come back to them when I've reduced the transmit power. I'll still see a peak. So we're in low, I'll put it in low power. At the moment, the way the low power's just been roughly set, it's doing 1.8 watts. So I've got a peak there. Got a peak there. And we've got a peak there. So now we'll go over to full power. I've now got to peak the power for maximum. It's looking at what it's doing, it's probably at that maximum, which is a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah, that was maximum. You know, the people who do this have absolutely no idea. It's been a little bit more. So I just have to run that again. It's doing 5.1. 5.2. Well, it's really quick because we're going to end up with smoke coming out of it. Right. So we need to take the yellow one clockwise for 4.4 watts. And this balances it across the 40 channels. And then we need to take the green one anti-clockwise. They say for 3.8 watts, but the legal limit is 4, so that's what we'll do it to. And now I'm going to just check I've got these right. Yeah. So we need to check channel. Do you know what I've gone and done? I've done that whole tune up on channel 1. So we're now going to start again. I'll just go back to low power. Peak. So you've really got to watch that you do this on channel 20. No wonder I was able to get even more out of it. Right, we'll go back to high power. So maximum, maximum, maximum. Then yellow one for 4.4 watts, clockwise for 4.4, that's important, and the green one anti-clockwise for 4. Right, recheck I've got these right. Yes, now check channel 1 and channel 40. So it should be within 0.1 of a watt. So we've got something like 4.05 on channel 1. We've got about 4.1 on channel 40. So that's within what we're allowed to do. And we'll pop the radio on frequency. So it was close enough not to have to do that first. They show you that. Slightly high. So we've got that to 4 watts. We've got that to 79127. Let's just do the deviation. So we need to have the vertical one in the central position. And then do the deviation with the horizontal one. Wallow. Too low still. Wallow. Still too low. Just check this isn't in some silly position. Wallow. That's better. Right, we're just going to check the factory original mic. Wallow. It's the same. Good. That'll sound a bit better. So now we want the RF meter to show 4 watts on transmit. So it's now 2.2 average, 2.5 absolute maximum. So when we key up, let's go back to that meter. When we key up, what's that meter reading? 3.5. So with that preset, on the 4. Right, well that's just needs the low power doing now. So switch to low power and adjust the preset for 400 milliwatts, which is just there. Go back to full power and go back to my 30 watt range on the test set, and it's there. Good. That's the transmitter done. And the receiver was pretty hot as it was. So we put an S9 signal on the test set, so that's 100 microvolts, put the oscilloscope on and switch to that camera. And when that warms up, put sufficient volume to get a decent trace, and wonder where we've dropped the trimming tool. Is that the one? Spot on as it was. Right, over to the cyanide meter. See whether we can get a little bit more out of it. So we go to 4 dB. I'm going to have to change scales because it's already that sensitive, it was going beyond the scale. So the idea of such a low signal is that you're not saturating the receiver. Actually, I've made a very small gain there. You don't get the extra receive circuit on this one. And Rotel 230s, it seems to be 50-50 as to whether you do. Bigger signal for these IF ones. Slight improvement there. That's fine. That's it. Let's see what we're getting now. 0.38. Exactly the same. Right, do the S meter, so 100 microvolts on the signal generator. May as well go with the attenuator now. What's that reading? It's just under the 9, so it doesn't really need adjusting, but we'll do it anyway. Put it bang on the 9. There we are. And now we need to check the squelch. So we're going to put a smaller signal. I've just put 1 microvolt and we're going to turn the squelch to full, then advance the attenuator. I want the squelch to open at 100 microvolts, so we've got 1, 3, 10, 30, 100. It's spot on. So if it wasn't doing that, I'd have to adjust it with the preset there. Right, we'll now do the opposite. So I'm going to put the signal generator to standby. That's what the red light shows. I've parked it at 0.3 of a microvolt. I'm going to turn the squelch down on the radio and set threshold. That's threshold. We'll switch the signal generator back on and see when it comes in. It's actually in straight away. So it's coming in at 0.3 of a microvolt and it's leaving at 0.27 of a microvolt. So not a lot of hysteresis. I say the squelch on this chassis isn't the best in the world, but it is competent and it's quite adequate. That's it. We're done. That's a very quick one. Apart from the double whammy with the high, the low power and all that, and it coming in not transmitting because of that. There's no component changes. There won't be any different fee. It'll just be retune and test. There we are. What a nice radio. One of our regular viewers in Wales, who was also an organist. His favourite radio of all time is the Harvard 420M. So the fact we've got one come in will cheer him up no end when we get to it in a few radios' time. So the next scheduled radio is a Midland 4001. We'll be on box 11. I'm going to drop in my friend Stuart's radio after that, because box 11 has got two Midland 4001s in. So I'm going to, in between, I am going to do the Midland that Stuart sent in. So that is going to jump the queue, but that's sometimes how it is. So we've got two Midland 4001s from the same customer in Norfolk. One he bought just before Christmas from a CB shop, and he doesn't seem to be satisfied with it, so we'll see why that is. Then I think the other one is one he's owned forever. And then after box 11, I think box 12 is the Maxcom 6E that Alan, the kind benefactor from North Lincolnshire, sent me as a gift. So we'll look forward to doing the Maxcom 6E, because it's not in the usual Maxcom. Mind you, I'll tell you another one you don't see a lot of. That's the 16E, the Maxcom Apollo 16E. It's got fairy lights on the front, and it's quite a basic set. I don't think it even has PA. We don't see many of those. Right, we'll pop the aerial on this. Let's go to its own speaker and just make sure it actually works. Yeah, it does. I'll switch the test gear off, and we'll plug in the Anton 99 roof aerial. One Anna Roger. Andy, are you out there? Tango 21 calling. He's about 11 miles away if he was on. No. There we go. So we'll do a scratchy corner test on that in the daylight tomorrow. It's Sunday tomorrow. It's Saturday today. It's about 8 o'clock in the evening. So we'll do a scratchy corner test tomorrow with that. And then I say we'll be moving on to box 11. So those of you who've got boxes in for service, this is the end of box 10. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and spend 40 minutes scanning this at mega resolution. And then, for the first time ever, I'm going to have... Let's take picture in picture. We're going to have... I'm sure I took picture in picture off. What button did I press? Goodness knows. I don't expect it's got anything special in it. Oh, it's got a serial number which probably even matches. I don't like it. He's got a horrible echo.
He loves it there. He absolutely loves that.
Do you remember back in the day when they all used great big typical American cars? And the circuit. Right, thanks for watching.